Hello and welcome to BI Publisher Lab. In this lab, we are going to build a complex report. So in this report is going to look something like this. It has a header and it has a body. So it has a header, a footer, a total that shows the total amount. You can see the report is by currency. And if you scroll down, you can see that's a page total at the bottom. It also prints the date. And if you look further, you can see that there is row level formatting based on the amount. And finally, the total for the total for the currency and the page total. The page total and the total may not be the same. The reason being the page total is specifically for the page. So let's review the report output one more time. So we have a report with a header, a body, and a footer session. The report header session basically stores the parameters used to drive the report. It also shows the report generation date. The body of the report is grouped by currency, and there is row level formatting based on the amount. And the footer shows the individual total or the total for the individual pages. And there's a final total for the entire report. So we are going to build one by one, and after each step, we will take a backup so that in case if we mess up, we can go back to the backup and restore it from there rather than restarting the whole thing. We are not going to do the data extraction part. This can be achieved through RDF on data template. At this point, we have the XML sample ready. Let's review the XML. It has a root element. It's a simple XML. It has three root elements. The main header root and a child root. And there's a child root called root data or report data that stores the elements. And the element has currency and budget amount, which we are more interested in. So the first step, let's start with building a simple table with the root record data, and we are going to sort it by ledger and budget group. Let's go to add in data load. We're going to load the BIP XML, and we are going to insert a table. We are going to straight away use the wizard. So table, and there is only one data set. We pick the elements that we need and click finish. So it doesn't have to be all these columns. Our main columns are budget, amount, currency. And if you look at the tools field browser, you can see I have sorted by ledger and budget name. So it's a simple table. Let's test it and see what happens. So you can see it's a simple report. There's nothing fancy. There's no subtotal or anything. So I took a backup of that file. So let's try to build a header area, footer area, and a parameter table. So I'm going to build the parameters first. I'm going to insert the table. Let's put 5 rows here or 6 rows. Just going to repeat it. I'm going to put budget type. I may have to reload the data because I have to exit the system. So we insert the field. So I'm going to repeat the same step for I'm going to repeat the same step for the other elements. So at this point, my parameters are ready. So I'm going to save this as a backup, and I would go and add the header and footer parts. So I'm going to go to insert header. I'm just going to get one column. I'm just going to delete this one now. And I'm going to insert a table there. And I'm going to replace this with report header. I'm going to remove the column. Take out these borders and shading, and remove the borders and shading. borders and shading, none. So I made it the font a little bit bigger, and I'm going to add the footer part now. So I did the same thing. I'm going to insert the page from insert the page numbers. I'm going to do a print date. I'm going to use the XDOFX format or XDOFX variables as date, which would print the current date of the basically the system date. So let's test it out. You can see that the report has a parameter section. It has a header and a footer. The footer displays the page numbers. But have you noticed that the parameter page is disappearing? But no, it's not there anymore. So let's try to work on that part. Let's let's adjust the font size, and we're going to insert 2 rows above the budget type, or 1 row above the budget type. So it should be right above the budget type. We'll add 1 more row, so it looks more prettier. So I changed the fonts to 8, and added a row above the budget type. Actually, I added 2 rows above the budget type. One is when I added the print date. Along with the print date, I put the sys date, and the report header also is over there. And I removed the header and footer because I'm going to use a different method to do that. I'm going to remove it. So in this step, we have already removed the header and footer using the standard way. I'm going to regroup it based on the report data and currency. So our report is currently based on the for each repetition of the report data. Instead, I'm going to say for each group report data, we're going to regroup the report group by report data and currency, and we're going to change the table. It's going to be based on current group, and it's no longer going to be based on report data. And we are going to add the currency above the main report table. So I've added a for each report group, and I'm going to regroup it based on the root element and the currency. And I'm going to add the currency a row above and add currency, and I'm just going to display the currency over there. And the inside for loop is going to be based on the current group. Everything else remains the same. So in this step, we are going to add a budget total for the currency, and we are going to use at section. The reason why we use at section, I will explain it later. So I'm going to add a new row, and I'm going to add this field, this form field, which would be based on sum of current group budget amount. And I'm going to use this keyword format currency, and the format is format currency, then the variable, and followed by the currency. The currency it can be right now I'm using the currency which is on the report, and let's run it and see what happens. So we notice that we can see that currency amount is displaying with the total. But if you notice that we can see the currency is in the same page, and that's not what we want. We want the currency to be in a fresh page. Each change in currency should be a fresh page. To do that, we use the add session. So we use the add section. So this add section would push the data into a new page for each change in the currency. Let's do that. So all I did was added this add section, and I'm going to test it out. So we can see that the page is now pushed, USD is now pushed away, and the page total is coming out, but there's no page total and no report or no header, no parameter header. We are going to use start body and end body to define the main body that is to be repeated in page. So this is similar to building a header and a footer. Here we are specifying the body and the header and remaining objects which are not defined within that section are going to be repeated as a header and a footer. We are going to add a new row under it, which we are going to use. We are going to use a keyword called add page total. So this keyword would accumulate the budget amount, and it's going to create a new variable called b amount. And we are going to use this keyword called show page total, and it's going to display the b amount that we store that stores the budget amount for the page. And this values are automatically reset for each page. So I have added the start body and end body, and I have added two form variables. In the first variable, I'm going to store the add page total b amount, and the next one is basically copying the previous, which is going to display the budget amount in the currency. And I've added a new row right below the end body, and this would store the show page total, the b amount, and the currency. Unfortunately, with the show page total, we cannot use the formatting format currency. So that's the reason why I'm displaying the currency right next to it. Let's test it out. So you can see the page total is appearing now. And if you look at the next page, the header is repeating. So if you notice that everything outside the main body is repeating, even the text also. So in our final step, we are going to do some conditional formatting. So it's all going to be for each row, for each head row. If the budget amount is between this and this, we're going to display color red. If the amount is greater than 2,000, 200,000, it's going to be green. So we have, so I've added the two ifs. So if you look at the if row, if the amount is, I basically copied the same code here. So let's test it out. So let's keep looking, see if yeah, the conditions are working. So that concludes this lab. I have built um, backups for each step. Feel free to download them, and you can either build the report from scratch or build them from different stages that I have. Thank you, and we'll see you again later.